This common task is over water supply. The objective for this common task is to discuss and ultimately have you guys go out to the tower or find a suitable place to demonstrate and practice establishing water supply. Three different types: the short shot or steamer supply, where you're directly connected in to either side of the pump panel, a forward lay, and a reverse lay. This first video demonstrates one of three ways that you can connect to your direct intake on the pump panel or driver's side. Your three options are to pull past, just like you did in the video. You can stop short, or you can use either one of those but angle away from the curb just a bit. If you are having to angle away from the curb, you just want to ensure you leave the road open if it needs to stay open for fire apparatus traffic. Most of the drivers, whenever they get to this point, they go ahead and open up their air bleeder valve. It's real important if you're already pumping. If not, you'll cavitate the pump. The objective here is for us to establish a water supply, but to maximize every bit of water that we can get out of that hydrant. So you want to make sure and limit the kinks. You want to check the 2.5s on each side of the hydrant and ensure that those caps are on. You also want to make sure and stand behind the hydrant. That way, if one of those caps does blow off, it doesn't hit you in the knee. As you can see in the video, he's flushed the hydrant. He's connecting in, making sure that he's not going to create a mess when he charges it. And then he'll turn the hydrant completely on. A couple things to think about if you're arriving and using your short shot and you're in an aerial and you're in a position that you're going to want to operate your aerial. You want to make sure that your outriggers will you leave enough room for those to come out. The same process take place on the officer side of the apparatus. As you can see, he's got one pretty decent kink in there, and that's going to reduce his available flow to that engine. This next video demonstrates a basic simple forward lay. The engine or the aerial shows up if they're laying in, stops at the hydrant, jump seat jumps off, grabs the 5-inch. He's going to pull just enough slack off to wrap the hydrant. He doesn't want to pull too much because he's going to have a kink issue down on his end, and he's going to be blocking the roadway. When we're laying a 5-inch in forward lay, or reverse lay for that matter, we need to make sure and lay it to the curb and leave room for another apparatus to come in. Once you get most of the first section on the ground, you should be able to start connecting your hydrant and establishing your water supply. Just make sure that the driver is the one that in fact tells you to charge that. On this next one, this is an example of a reverse lay. In this scenario, the aerial's set up. Just suppose they're in front of a house and we were told to bring water, bring them a 5-inch supply and lay out to water. A couple different reasons to do that. One would be to keep this area near the scene clear of the engine. You might have came in a different direction and had to lay out to a hydrant. This could be a fire engine sitting there that you're laying a reverse lay to, or it's commonly used to boost the pressure. What's important here is for this engine to connect on with their short shot or whatever it takes to get water supply, but run that through your engine. If you need to boost the pressure, you can. If you don't have to, then it's not a big deal. All right, something for you guys to discuss. When might you want to forward lay a 5-inch supply line from a mailbox, a fence post, street sign, police car, whatever's sitting there? A lot of times you'll have a long, narrow driveway, and you don't want to crowd it with apparatus, especially if it's a real long driveway. You may want to keep that scene uncluttered, and sometimes that's called for. Here's one example for you. If this house is burning, it's 441 feet off of the road. The hydrant is back down in this area here. So if that's a defensive fire, a good working fire, I don't think anyone would argue that that first arriving engine should go ahead and lay a 5-inch supply line, wrap the mailbox, wrap something fixed, leave that water supply at the road, and just lay in. You're going to be the pumping engine. You might be the pumping quint, whatever, but go ahead and leave that water supply. The next in engine is going to secure a water supply and bring water to it. And then if this is an excessively long lay, they can boost the pressure here. But if it's a short lay, they're just going to connect their hose to it. It's just going to make things a little easier. All right, so hands-on. You need to go to the tower, and everybody needs to practice hooking up with a short shot on their left steamer, their right steamer. Practice a forward lay as well as a reverse lay, and discuss some of the benefits of the reverse lay. Y'all enjoy it.